Welcome back, geometry kiddos. We are on video 3 of the Reasoning with Algebra Intro to Proofs lesson. Again, turn on your sound. I definitely want you listening to my explanations. All right, so where are we so far? We have learned about all of these properties. Most of them we already know. We've got some new ones here that we are going to have to make some 3x5 cards, study and be active. And we are actually on the third page. And we are going to justify each step. Move this down a little bit, okay? Justify each step. So again, we have to justify. Justify. Now, I want to make sure we pop something out here for you. We need to train our eyeballs when we start a problem, okay? Because often the starting is the most difficult part. All right, we got to read, pay attention to every little detail. Okay, so look here. What's given? What are we asked to prove? What information is also given? Okay, so these things here are also given. Okay, so given information can be a statement or it can be something that's labeled on the picture. Okay, so you really have to pay attention. So we're given that the measure of angle ABD, okay, is this big one right here, ABD, and then all of this is 107 degrees. So take the time to label the figure with any information that they give you that's not already on the figure, okay? Super, super important, okay? Because you want to be able to look here and see as much as you can to help you figure this out, okay? So the given is like the hypothesis, and what we're trying to find is the conclusion. So in other words, if the measure of angle ABD equals 107, then the measure of angle ABC equals 66. Okay, so this is like the if, this is like the then. And what you're going to see most of the time is given and prove. Okay, these words are going to be what is in most of our problems this semester. Okay, all right, so let's take a look at what we have here. All right. So we need to prove that going step by step and justifying each of those steps. Okay, so what I have here for you is I've got it kind of partially done to where I either give you the step and then you have to justify it, or I give you the justification and you have to figure out what the step is. Okay, so this is sort of like a basic framework, and what we're working up to is it's basically I'm going to give you prove, and then it's just going to be a bunch of blank space, and you're going to have to do both sides. This is what we call a two-column proof. So we have a statement and then we have a reason. All right, so first of all, first thing that we say, the measure of angle ABC plus the measure of angle CBD equals the measure of angle ABD. All right, so once again, when we learned the angle addition postulate, I strongly suggested that we color some of these things in. So I'm just going to do that real quick because I think that kind of makes it so much easier. Okay. So that's ABC, so I just colored that orange, right? And I'm going to color this one here. CBD. Okay, so my orange angle plus my green angle equals the whole ABD. And of course I did that with I kind of like marked that way. Okay. What is it that says we can add the pieces of an angle to make a bigger angle? That's not on the list that I just gave you. This is from what we already know from this unit. That is what we call the angle addition postulate. And this is why I said you need to start making 3x5 cards and study these things, because all these little details are going to come back over and over and over and over. Okay. So that's step one. Okay, so the measure of angle ABC plus CBD equals the measure of angle ABD. Okay, now the next thing we're going to use is the substitution property. So we're going to use the given information to do that. All right, so the measure of angle ABC ABC, do you see it tells us on here that that's 4x plus 2? So we're going to put, in place of measure of angle ABC, we're going to put that 4x plus 2. And then the measure of angle CBD, that comes from the picture. So we're going to add plus 3x minus 7. Whoops. And that's going to equal the measure of angle ABD, and they told us that in the statement, so ABD equals 107. Okay, so we start with the statement using the angle notation, and then in each angle place, we're going to put in the actual algebra statements we know from the problem. All right, so we go from here to here. All right, so we have 4x plus 2 plus 3x minus 7 equals 107. All right, now, some of you, okay, have gotten used to skipping this step when you're doing it because you can mentally look at this and go, oh, 4x plus 3x and just do 7x. But you got to write this statement down, okay? So here's the thing about proofs. You have to write every single step. Every single step. You don't get to do mental math and forget anything or just not write it down, okay? Otherwise, you're missing a step in your proof, and that's not okay in geometry. All right, so 4x plus 3x is 7x. 2 minus 7 is minus 5. So what did we do here? We just combined like terms, which is simplify. Or just combining like terms. That's a algebra thing that we're allowed to do, okay, that you should know how to do by now. All right, now, what are we going to do to finish this off, okay? We have to get all the way down to the end of it, okay? So 7x minus 5 equals 107. All right, so I want to go ahead and get the x by itself. So even though I don't necessarily write it down, okay, what I'm actually going to do is add 5 to both sides. So my next statement is actually that 7x equals 112. Don't have to write this in a proof. Now, I would suggest you write it kind of little to keep track of it. What did we just do? We added. So that's the addition property of equality. Again, what happened? What happened was the additional property of equality. All right, now, once again, keep in mind, we're trying to prove that a certain angle has a measurement, so we're trying to get rid of the variables here. All right, so we have to get the variable, or we have to get the numbers alone. I didn't say that well. So what are we going to do to get x alone? That's what I'm trying to say. All right, so we're going to divide both sides. So what did we do? We divide both sides. 112 divided by 7 is 16, so x equals 16. And how do we do that? We divided, so that was the division property of equality. All right, so now we have a value for x, but we're not done, okay? Because we're trying to prove that the measure of angle ABC equals 66, okay? That's this one. So we're trying to prove that this orange angle is 66. So just getting x alone isn't enough, okay? So the next step here is the measure of angle ABC equals 4 times 16 plus 2. Now keep in mind, ABC was 4x plus 2. So how did we go from this given statement, from the drawing, 4x plus 2 is labeled for ABC, to this statement where 4 times 16 plus 2? That was the substitution property because we put this 16 in place of the x. And that's not of equality, that's just substitution property. Okay, now we're going to do this math, right, to get that the measure of angle ABC equals 66. Again, that seems so obvious to you, but you have to state why, and that's because we simplified. We just went ahead and did the math. That's simplifying. And now we are here. So last step, okay, the last step is what we are trying to prove. This will always be the case. Okay, so the last line of your proof should always be what they said to prove. Okay, all right, we have one more pretty short page here, so I'm going to stop this video and let you watch that one, a separate video when it's convenient for you. And I'll see you there.